If you enjoy puzzle games and logic games that have you thinking outside of the box to come up with the end goal and solution to complete the puzzle, and if you've ever worked in a corporate environment that uses horrible phrases like out of the box, such as blue sky thinking, strategic solutions, all of that kind of corporate jargon that just makes you want to vomit into your own eyeballs for the cringeworthy faffiness of it all. As you can tell, I definitely work in that environment. Then I would recommend to you Rats in a Cage. Rats in a Cage is a satirical puzzle game that points its finger waggingly and knowingly and very swearily at a corporate world. And the different gameplay mechanics have all been corporatised to send up office working, which I personally loved because I have to suffer this in my day job. The idea behind each of the levels is that you need to be able to get to the exit, but that exit is often blocked by lots of switches that need to be opened and they're colour coordinated to different doors, and you might need to have the different rats that are also in the world that represent your co-workers. They need to be manipulated to either get out of the way or to trigger switches and things like that. It gets more complicated as the game progresses. The different gameplay mechanics have been corporatised, as I say, so every time a rat or a co-worker can get a line of sight to a cup of coffee, it will move towards it constantly. And so you need to manipulate them by closing and opening different doors or blocking different corridors with yourself so that they can't get to the coffee, and therefore manipulate them how you need to see fit to get to the exit. You'll also have emails that when you click on them to open and close them, will open and close a different door with an email elsewhere. So they're like kind of open and closing switches that alternate. You've then also got office gossip, which you can pick up and drop in strategic locations, because just like coffee, everyone runs for the office gossip. And everything that you click on in all of these different scenarios has like really office-fied, anodyne, stupid things that everyone like lives off of for the drama in a corporate world. Like, oh, you can't believe who's sleeping with the boss. And then like all the rats go for it. And you have to try and like work out where you position yourself and the office gossip to get them to do the thing that you need to do. Later on, another mechanic sees you having to push around deadlines physically to block your co-workers from being able to do things, so therefore ruin your puzzle solution, for example. And yeah, just the theming of this game is superb. And as someone that has to suffer the corporate office world and people just spouting utter trash constantly to sound and look big and positive and brainy when actually they can barely organise their way out of a paper bag, really, I just felt so seen playing this game. It's quite cathartic doing this review, to be honest. It's just really, really well done. But the puzzles themselves are also really, really tricky. Outside of the coffee mechanic, every time you move, the rats will move too, so long as they can move towards something that you've triggered them to manipulate them with. And so what that means is that for a lot of the game, you don't have to think about making decisions quickly. You can plot out your next move. And Rats in a Cage favours exacting choices to do the right thing, rather than kind of having a free go moment and just reacting on the fly. That being said, there isn't very much room for error, and so if you do make a mistake, having to restart the level from scratch each time rather than having an undo feature is really the only quality of life thing that I would say Rats in a Cage is missing, and I'd like to see implemented potentially in the future if it's technically possible to do so. Alongside the base level design, there's also arcade minigame send-ups of the corporate world too. One of them is like a Defender style game where you have to defend your boss's arse from other co-workers climbing the corporate ladder, because if anyone's going to lick that arse, it's got to be you to get that promotion. So you need to like run and push them all off of the corporate ladder and defend the butt of the boss, which is sitting at the top of the screen. There's other things where it's more conversational, where you have to choose whether or not you're going to be bold and brash and say that you're going for that promotion and you don't care whether your boss likes it or not, or whether you're going to play the long game and see whether or not you want to butter them up and go, oh boss, you're the best thing ever, and try and see whether or not you can bum lick your way to the top instead. And then there's other things like a Space Invaders style trying to shoot all of the different blocks out of the sky to unlock the motivational quote, or choosing from impossible choices like which way the toilet roll goes in the toilet holder, or how to get other office workers off of the toilet so that they can get back into meetings and be productive? Or is it actually better to leave them in the toilet for when the boss arrives because they shouldn't be on their toilet break? There's these kind of corporate decision choices that try and make it feel like you should be underhanded to try and get that promotion, because the underlying nature here is it's not about doing good at your job, it's about manipulating the world around you so that you can get what you want, because everyone is just really horrible in the corporate world. And there's quite a lot of truth to that, I have to say, because as someone that works bloody hard in their job, quite often you just then get given more work and more responsibility with the exact same or sometimes less pay as a result. So more mug me. I really enjoyed Rats in a Cage. It doesn't immediately jump off the page from a visual design point. It took me a little while to get used to it. It feels like a hand-drawn Specky game or Amiga game to some degree, but actually that aesthetic then starts to really play into the cynicism of the corporate world the more that you play. The real key here is the writing and the level design. They are fiendish and pointed and on point. And so anyone that's looking for a quirky, sweary, cynical puzzle game that does satire extremely well, Rats in a Cage would be a very high recommendation on my list for you. Written review will be on higherplanegames.com. Take care.
Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.